My name is Andrew Ray, and I will be presenting on the topic of the history of music in video games, with special emphasis on the paradigm shift caused by technical advances in the industry as game music progressed from 4-track chiptunes to full orchestral arrangements. Along the way, I will attempt to answer the question, where did all those great video game theme songs go? The earliest arcade games, like Galaxy Game, had no sound capabilities, and this lack of audio support was carried to the first home system, the Magnovox Odyssey. The first game to utilize sound in any capacity was Pong, which had only one sound, a blip that played when the ball was hit. The first console to support audio in any form was the Atari VCS, later called the Atari 2600. The quality of the sound, though, was rather poor. For this reason, very few games for the system used music. The Atari 400 computer introduced the 4-track chip. The 5200 introduced the dedicated consoles. This chip allowed music in console video games to become far more pleasant to listen to. This style is very strongly associated with early video games. Because this music could only have 3 different simultaneous notes, composers were forced to focus on melody lines. According to an episode of Extra Credits, a strong melody is what makes a song memorable. It is melodies that make songs that people call catchy. Because of these technical limitations, chiptunes from 8-bit games must be very melody-oriented. The title theme from the game The Legend of Zelda, composed by Koji Kondo, is arguably one of the most memorable video game themes. The release of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System brought digitized sound to console games. The console could mix 8 voices in sync and featured a program which could produce waveforms emulating instruments. Later consoles would use similar systems. It was at this point that games could start using music that is described today as atmospheric. The Sega Saturn was the first console which could play audio tracks. This theoretically allowed video games to play recorded music. However, this was in large part impossible because recorded music would take up too much of the precious space on the disc. The first game to actually contain music recorded by a full orchestra was Heart of Darkness. Unlike chiptunes, polyphonic music can be ambient. Ambient music is very good at setting a mood, but is not often very memorable. This ambient music from Journey, composed by Austin Wintory, conveys a strong sense of loneliness, but it is difficult to hum along to and doesn't stick well in people's minds. Polyphonic music can also be epic. Epic music is also good at setting moods, but increases the energy of the action. This music from God of War 3 is a perfect example of this. Like ambient music, however, it is difficult to remember because it cannot easily be hummed along to. Of course, it is still possible for polyphonic music to be melodic, like this music from Super Mario Galaxy 2. It conveys a sense of adventure and is easy to hum along with. This makes it very easy to remember. If you played the game before, you probably remember hearing this piece. So, what did happen to catchy video game themes? Well, they never went anywhere, but more options are now available to video game composers. Ambient music and epic music can both be used alongside melodic music to great effect in today's video games.